We all good? Are we on? What's up? Are we on? Good. I'm just gonna have my drink. Get ready because I'm a little cranked up today. So I'm just gonna relax for a second. Just gonna see what's good. Have my drink. Say hi to the folks in the chat before I get started. A little cranked up today. So Bunny, what's going on? Adam Daniels in the house. Dennis Isaac, what's good? Joey Sylvie. I don't know about being first this time. EJ Johnson, what's up? Red Flags in the house. Martin Leakey, what's going on? GMB, Mario Ramirez, Rebecca, Mr. Matty Moses, what's going on? All right. All right. So, started a little cranked up today. So, let me get off of this. Bunny, Inquisitive Bunny, I appreciate you. Thank you for the donation. Sylvie, I don't know about being first this time. Jay Alex, my bad. Got that going. All right, let me take that off. Okay. All right, doing too much with the double speak out here. I saw that, so got it under control now. So, all right. Greetings to you all. Thanks for joining me for this short live stream. Just wanted to just chat about some things real quick. And I always say that I'm appreciative to be part of this community of truthers, truth seekers, the ones that have become aware to the deceptions in the world. When people try to give us a bad rap for saying that we're awake, that we're woke, we're rather aware, but we use the term awake because it's like we've been living in a dream world. We've been living in somewhat of a fantasy land, believing that everything is as it seems. And we find ourselves in this position where we're referred to or call ourselves awakened to these deceptions because we've snapped out of the programming, that we don't so much believe the narrative that's been pushed upon us through all these different directions, from the music, the media, the mainstream educational / indoctrination system. We've found a way through whatever circumstances, whether it was through researching, through reading, watching videos, sitting with a friend, whatever it may be, we found ourselves to be in a position where we've freed our minds. And that's necessary. It's a blessing in disguise. Not even in disguise. It's just a blessing to be that way in this world that's full of deception. And it's cool to be awake. It's cool to be aware that all this stuff's going on, and it gives us a sense of belonging when we find people who we can connect with, who've reached these conclusions right alongside us, and we can feed off of each other and pass information along and all that. But now that we've come to these conclusions and that we've made ourselves aware of these various deceptions on all these different stages, and what deceptions, what things have we been misled about? Where do we start? We've looked into so many different things. We look into the yearly flu season, and we it doesn't take a lot of research to figure out that the whole flu epidemic that's going on recently is based on the flu vaccine that's being distributed to people. I mean, it's obvious at this point. There's been research done. Just a common sense approach tells you that, you know, there aren't specific times of the year where a virus or bacteria just spreads itself around, but they're like, oh, it's flu season, so everybody runs out and gets these flu shots. So more people end up getting sick after they get a flu shot. And I've known people who gotten the shot that have never gotten it that ended up getting sick this year. Coincidence? I don't think so. But we've looked into that. We know about the depopulation agenda that's connected to the vaccines and how there's a direct link between these mandatory vaccinations with children, with babies, this hyper schedule of inoculation that takes place in children that also correlates to autism. You know, there's been studies on that. We know about the chemtrails, the aluminum, strontium, and barium being sprayed in these heavy metal particulates from these commercial aircrafts. We know about that. We've already looked into these things. We know about the false flag events. We've seen recently how you know, we've seen that kid David Hogg in these in so many different interviews. Like, he's the poster boy for these events, and it's just coming out to a point to where so many people have called BS on that event and his affiliation with that event that, I mean, he's had to come out you know, out in public to do damage control, and the mainstream media is kind of lockstep with him, making sure that people don't question the narrative. People like us, people that are aware, people that are woke. And that's the importance of what you do, because you have a voice also. You have a platform, regardless of the size, regardless of how many people you think you're affecting. You can reach people that I can't, or that Richie from Boston can't, or whoever you watch on YouTube. You have a sphere of influence, as it were, that you can reach that we can't. So what you do is important also. But like I was saying, I mean, we see all these things, we see what's wrong with the world, and we become aware of it. And what we want to do is go out and talk to people about these things. Not so much that we're trying to scare anyone, just to make them aware of the way that the world is. And the world seems to be a messed up place, but it's on us to get the word out. And, you know, for whatever reasons, we don't at some point, you know. But maybe not even you who's here, or maybe, but I would have to ask you, what or who is stopping you from raising your voice? Is it friends? Because your friends, if they're really friends, the way that I understand friends, a friend is actually going to be someone who isn't going to call you crazy, who's going to turn their back on you because you see things differently than they do. A friend is someone who would be caring enough or compassionate enough with you to say, okay, this is still my friend. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but since we've been through so much or whatever, you know, I'll respect them enough to hear them out, or I'm just not gonna criticize or try to make fun. If somebody turns their back on you because you try to make them aware of something that they might not know, that might just be an associate. Now, we all probably have more associates than we do friends, but it's necessary to know who's got your back and who doesn't. So if you're worried about losing friends, the thing is, you're just going to figure out who your real friends are in this whole process. And sadly, a lot of us find out, including myself, we don't have a whole lot of real friends. This is why I promote meetups. This is why I'm like, yeah, you all communicate amongst yourselves to start these networks, that offline, because the people that we hang out with on a regular probably aren't the you know the friends that we thought they were. Who is it? Family? Well, you can't really choose who your family is. You were born with them. You don't get to choose family, but at the same time, you just have to work through it. Uh, is it coworkers? Is it coworkers that stop you from talking about these things? You don't want them to think that you're crazy. I've had a couple of folks at my place of employment attempt to question my level of intelligence, but I had to snap them back into reality real quick. Like, so you're saying that you think that I'm dumb or idiot or whatever, lower level of intellect from where you are, and yet we work at the same spot. So if I'm such a huge moron and you work at the same place with me, who you claim to be a huge moron, what exactly does that say about your level of intellect? Because obviously your big old brain couldn't get you to a point to where you could think your way into a position where you didn't have to come to this place and work right alongside an idiot like me. A little backhanded compliment. Oh, you're so smart, you have to do the same thing that my dumbass do? Really? Come on, man. Just a little logic. But people try to say that we're crazy. We're not. We're not. We're actually compassionate. We're actually more concerned about what people end up living like in the future. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. We've been able to walk around for a while and just wake up to this whole situation, take a look at the big picture and realize this things aren't getting better. They're not. I've been looking at this for years. Just for an example, I look at TV, like what TV used to be like back in the 90s. You remember Beavis and Butthead used to be like cutting edge stuff. That's tame now compared to the stuff that's on TV right now. I mean, seriously, some of the stuff that's going on right now, they got open witchcraft type cartoons on the Cartoon Network, on Disney. We all know about Disney, how they hypersexualize in movies and all that. How in The Lion King, Simba flops down, the little dust flies off, spells the word sex. I mean, Disney's full of all types of satanic subliminals that way. But we're not crazy. We're just noticing that things just progressively get worse. I realized back in the 90s you would see these scenes where, you know, sex is implied in one scene, but now it's just, I mean, they kind of like go all out there. I mean, stuff's just progressively gotten worse and worse, and that's who we're dealing with. We're dealing with people behind the scenes pulling the strings who have no, they look, for lack of a better term, they got no chill. They're not gonna stop. They're just gonna keep pushing the envelope as far as they can without any remorse. They don't care about morality. They don't care about the family unit. They're actually going after the whole structure of the family to break that apart. So, both parents have to go off to work and to leave the children to be raised by the system. And in these government educational systems, it's like they want to tell us that we came from some explosion out of nothing, that you're pretty much worthless at the end of the day. You have no value. Therefore, just go do whatever you want to do because it doesn't matter anyway. We've all been brought to this point of materialism that it's just sickening once you think about it. But because, I mean, will even at the same time see these rich people that are supposed to be these professional actors or whatever. They got all this money, but yet they're overdosing on drugs, they're getting DUIs and all that. Obviously, the fame and fortune hasn't made them happy, but it could tie into all the sick stuff that they got to do behind the scenes that we've also looked into. You know, with the rituals, the you have in order to get to this level, you have to sacrifice this person. We've looked into this stuff, but you know, since we can all see these things, it's on us to go ahead and, you know, spread the information out as far and wide as we can, you know, and whatever you're passionate about, talk about that. That's what I that's all I'm on. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying talk about flat earth all the time. You know, I'm not saying talk about chemtrails all the time or vaccines or false flags or 9/11 or whatever. Okay. And I get that a lot. People coming to me saying, "Hey, you talk about this enough. You need to talk about that." And then, sorry, I gotta some no here. I get that every now and then. Somebody says, "Talk about this," and then I'll respond like me, a regular guy. I'll click on it to go check their channel, and I'm like, "Oh look, you're not talking about anything, but you're trying to tell me what to talk about. That's cute." And then I'll just move on. But the thing is, that's not like a jab. I'm saying you can talk about this stuff too if if you have the time in the system. We need to wake them up to all this stuff slowly or quickly, however we can get this information out here, because we only got one shot at this thing. We only got one shot at this thing. Why do we need to do this? Because it's more than necessary. This is the only chance we get to get this information out of here. And the folks that are in charge, they are trying to clamp down the system. We already know that. That's what they're doing with these false flags. That's what they're doing with the HARP technology and all that. That's what they're doing with these FEMA camps and all that. They're trying to put the whole system on lock. Okay, and if we don't put the information out here, if we don't alert people, I mean, they're going to be blindsided by this stuff. And the stuff that we're trying to get out here, the means by which we communicate our messages on whatever topic to whoever, it's got to go beyond just talking, and then we got to figure out some solutions. So that's gonna have to be something that we talk about, you know, in the future. But the reasoning for this is for future generations, because that which goes on from now, whatever happens from now, it is what it is. You know, from here, we're going to have to deal with whatever world is left to our children. And this is what it is. We have to worry about what future generations are going to deal with. We, as individuals who know what's going on, it's on us to try to make the world a better place than the way we left it. All right, because somebody's going to be here when we're long gone. And I mean, if we just kind of drop the ball and don't even do what we can while we have the opportunity, I mean, I'm not really going to feel good about that. That's just me personally. I'm going to continue telling the truth as much as I can. I'm going to put out what I need to put out when I need to put it out, just to add my voice to this whole thing. Okay, it's necessary at this point. It's time. It's time. This whole situation, this evil ruling class of whatever you want to call these folks, this bloodline, from wherever these individuals are from. I'm gonna say individuals because I'm not thinking these are humans. Okay, humans have a little more decency. Humans have a little more compassion than these individuals show. So just the idea that these folks are the ones who are pulling the levers, who are making things happen piece by piece, we need to expose that, and we need to stay vigilant while we're out here, and just remember that you're not doing this just for you. So whoever's trying to make you feel bad about speaking the truth, whoever's trying to give you a hard time about having a different viewpoint, we're the ones walking around who are aware to the illusions. Okay, those people are still walking around blindly believing that everything's cool. Government has our best interest at heart. These are bad people over here, so it's necessary for us to go to war with them. This certain group of um, you know, politicians or whatever, they're the ones that are going to help us, and this other group, they're the ones that are against us. It's all theater, and we can see through that. It's all an illusion. So what our thing is, we just need to go out, spread the information as best we can, just continue to do what we do. I appreciate everybody. I really do. I'll get back over here in the chat a bit. That's going quick. But all right, y'all. Not sure what was going on. I was on the other screen. I hadn't even seen the chat. I appreciate everybody for coming through. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. You heard the alarm going off a second ago. Might be late. We'll see what happens, but it's all good, y'all. I appreciate you all coming through. That's all I got. That's all I got. Much love to you. Peace to everybody. As always, be good to each other. Take care. Stay flat. I'll see you next time. Thank you.